Welcome everybody back to WCW 2005 here in TEW 2020, and yeah, it's been a while, but I can see this is the beginning of 31 days of May, where hopefully I'll have 31 days of content every single day, whether it's TW 2020 stuff, which is going to be most of it, hopefully some WT2K23 stuff, if I can do like actual videos of it, and some other stuff like Journey of Wrestling, Basketball GM, and maybe even some Victoria 3 or Crusader Kings 3. Basically all the random stuff that I actually like. Why not make some content out of it? And maybe it'll push me to do a little more. But let's get rolling. It's been a while. So with this, this is the go home shows for Nitro and Revolution. So I'll be going ahead and obviously giving some just in case it's been a few months since probably most people who watch this have seen it. And yeah, if you're running across this 6 months from now, hey, people have breaks. But regardless, I'm hoping you enjoy it. But I'll be reminding people of the angles and such that are going on as we go through the show. So let's get rolling. Episode Nitro. Go home show for Slamboree. Let's get rolling. And Nitro live from a sold out crowd at the Convocation Center on the campus of Osite University begins with a triumvirate of WCW World Champion Billy Kidman, Mike Awesome, and Lance Storm coming out along with April Hunter to the boos of the crowd. As the announcers put over that last week, Rob Van Dam won the Beat the Clock challenge and made this their match at Slamboree 2 out of 3 falls match. And Kidman takes Mick and says, he is the WCW World Champion for a reason, and that's because he took advantage of an opportunity. And what people want to think he's not really the champion, fine. He's not scared of 2 out of 3 falls. He proved he was the best cruiserweight wrestler of his generation, and at Slamboree, he'll prove to any doubters once and for all that he is the best wrestler in the world, and this is his title no matter what. And not only next Monday, right here on Nitro, not only will I still be the WCW World Champion, but Awesome Storm will be the new WCW World Tag Team Champions after they walk out of Assault of Anarchy II with the belts on their waist. So you may not like it, but you're going to have to just learn to deal with it as we prove that we are the most dominant group in professional wrestling today. Cue Eric Bischoff coming out to mixed pop, because you remember Bischoff is not like pure heel. He's like closer to like Raw GM Bischoff looking for ratings and such, but slightly more face tinged, but he congratulates Kidman and rest Triumvirate. Obviously you guys are going to win, so why not have a little fun before Slamboree? Basically, there's still one Nitro left. So let's get a fun match, and controversy creates cash. So let's get a little preview of Slamboree, but without your buddies. Tonight, we're going to preview 2 championship matches at once, as you're going to team up with the challenger to the WCW Cruiserweight Championship at Austin Aries as you take on Rob Van Dam and Matt Sydal in a big tag match. And I know what you're already thinking, Kidman, so don't worry. Storm, you're banned from ringside, and Awesome, you're going to be busy as you're going to be a 4-way preview for Assault of Anarchy involving every single team that's involved. So it's going to be you, it's going to be Chris Harris, it's going to be Kaz, and it's going to be Jack Evans in a fatal 4-way match. Pop for that. Kidman says it doesn't matter. It's going to be a preview. I'm going to kick in RVD's ass tonight. And I'm going to remind everybody why I'm the world champion. Pop for that. 83. Decent stuff. Again, this Kidman push to the world title is just me seeing what happens. If, stuff happens, it happens. If it doesn't, there are more world title reigns in WCW history, right? So anyway, we move on to our opening match, which is, of course, debut of Gigantes and Reno as a tag team. As last week, Reno was getting beaten down by Helms, and Helms and his new bodyguard, Titus Tomko. But what happened was that Gigantes made his return after being months away for rehab and made the save for his former stablemate Reno, and now they're together as babyfaces, and they squash Reckless Roberts and Neil Skipper in a little under 4 minutes as Gigantes pins Reckless Roberts with the tank turret. It's a choke slam. He's hit him with a choke slam, regardless. This only gets a 48. Let's see here. Reno gets a 67. Gigantes gets 63. Skipper gets a 57. Roberts gets a 41. No storyline. And, these guys aren't the, best wrestlers. But, at least, I was dreading some bad chemistry. But, hey, get to move on from here. As post-match, Helms and Tomko try to attack, and basically Helms comes in from behind and, hits basically a super kick to the back of Gigantes. So basically he no-sells, he turns around, in comes Titus Tomko. He starts brawling with Reno's and Gigantes as the announcers put over that's been officially signed that at Slamboree it's going to be a big tag team match between these two. So let me see here. Did I already book this? No, I did not. So yeah, and this is like just finding ways of keeping people busy if they're not going to be involved in the tippy top of the tag team division, and helping build guys like Titus Tomko, Reno Gigantes, and we'll just see how they do here. So this is going to be a fun match for Slamboree. And this post match gets to 65 and moves stuff forward. And then we go to basically a VTR of we start out with basically Kanyon in the ring, like basically working with random luchadors, dealing with their planchas, with their lucha moves, and him reversing him, and we get a voiceover from basically he says, Eddie, in 6 days we're going into cage sheet, but here's the difference. I've dealt with that brutality before. Cut to basically a highlight package of Kenny in the Triple Cage, taking the big bump thanks to Mike Awesome and all that fun stuff from the Russo era. Yay. And, basically, as he, continues to say, after that, people left me for dead in this business. They thought I was just a curiosity that was going to be around for a couple months at the top of the card. And then once ownership changed, I would be gone. But I proved myself that nobody's better than Kanyon. Week after week, month after month in that ring. And Eddie, you came in, and yeah, we fought, and you won. But deep down, that was one of the toughest matches of your life. But that was just a regular wrestling match. Now we're in cage sheet, so Eddie, get ready for the pain, the brutality, and I'm going to prove that truly nobody's better than Kanyon, and I deserve to be at the top of the mountain once again after I'm done with you. So 97, good long video, really putting over the importance of cage sheet, as Kanyon and Eddie have been fighting for the last few months, and finally it's blowing off here at Slamboree. Then we have a backstage segment where Austin Aries walks into the Triumvirate locker room. He says, let's talk future champion and current champion, as he looks over April Hunter because he's a sleazebag, because he's Austin Aries. And Kidman fires back, look, kid, you have a lot of talent, but he's a world champion, so tonight follow my lead and don't get in my way. And Aries says, you're right, Billy. You do have some talent, but here's the difference between me and you. I'm not going to be spending years of my prime stuck in the Cruiserweight division. I'm going to win the Cruiserweight title, prove I'm the best cruiser in business, then sooner than later, I'm going after that title, no matter who has the belt. And he looks over April again, and there's a little bit of, a little bit of tension, but, these are both heels, so we'll see what they do. As this gets a 71. Fun stuff. And then we have basically, it's a squash match. Tank Tolan, has been getting a push alongside his partner, whose name I'm blanking on because I'm terrible at this and it's been a while. Oh God, who's his partner? Not Lenny Lane. Oh God, I'll look it over. You know who it is. Obviously if you're following this along, you know better than me. Again, been a couple months I've looked at this. Anyway, but this is just a squash match to put O'Hare over, our former world champion, of course, in the feud with Jonathan Toro, and this is just a way to put him over. Solid match, gets a 69. O'Hare gets a 78. Tolan gets a 68, which is closer than I thought, honestly. Kind of been not pushing O'Hare the greatest since he lost the title, but this is the sort of his rebuild as he's been feuding with Jonathan Toro, and Tolan gets he doesn't. This isn't a super squash. Tolan gets some offense in, he gets to look good, but again, at the end of the day, O'Hare is a former world champion, and Tank Tolan is just a tag team guy who's getting a bit of a push and got lucky enough to be in the quarterfinals of Mayhem last year. And at the end, Widowmaker 1-2-3 pinfall victory. O'Hare gets a 78, Tolan gets a 68. And then after that, O'Hare celebrating when sort of the Tron at the top of the ramp comes up, and it's Jonathan Toro basically dressed in gladiatorial gear in sort of an obvious blue screen, as he just kicks around a bunch of power plant guys, local jobbers, etc. As we cut to Swinger Romeo surrounded by various quote unquote festival versions, aka strippers around the area. Feeding him grapes as, Toro throws, people around, kicks him in the head, tosses him around. And, after he, takes care of the last jobber, he basically does the spin around a la Russell Crowe and says, are you not entertained? Sort of joking about it. And then he turns the camera and says, the time for entertainment is over. O'Hare, I don't rise to the top and truly make Nitro part of my empire. And in 6 days at Slamboree, you will kneel and learn you've been conquered. So again, setting that up, O'Hare versus Toro, a gladiator match, which is basically just sort of like a, random, a slightly turned around Texas death match, no DQ, no count out, all that fun stuff. And they don't have great chemistry. They don't have good chemistry at all. They have bad chemistry, but I need to blow off this feud. So we're just going to throw them in a gladiator match, throw a bunch of overbooking on probably, and just see how it goes. But still, 84 solid stuff, and set this up. Then we cut backstage where Jeremy Rash is knocking on RVD's door, but not getting any answer as he sort of looks at the cameraman like, what's going on? And then we see some smoke escaping from the bottom of the door. And then out comes RVD and Sydal, obviously very chill and happy. You know what we're going with, especially considering both these guys' background. We're asking about the tag team match and the World Championship match at Slamboree, and RVD says, "Look, dude, there's no point being stressed out. In 6 days, I've got my chance to be world champion once again and prove, Kidman, you attacked me after a long match, and that was that. I'm going to prove it in the ring to make sure nobody denies I'm the world champion again. But tonight, Matt and I, we got together, got ready, got to know each other, and we get to run the crowd over. They're backing us, and make sure two douchebags like Kidman and Aries get a preview of what's going to happen to them at Slamboree." So 71, decent stuff as Van Dam and Sydal, Sydal just sort of goose around backstage as the answers put over a big tag team match, and looks like RVD and Sydal have bonded over shared interests. Hint, hint. 71, decent stuff. Again, not the best stuff as it's just a quick 3-minute promo, but really putting over what's going on. As we go forward to, we see basically Brother Ray, we basically cut from there, going backstage as Brother Ray is trying to go after the Chosen Few. He basically is trying to kick at their locker room. Bischoff comes in, they open the door. Brother Ray goes after him. Security stops him. As the answers put over, he's going to be Jarrett Brother Ray at the pay-per-view. And Eric Bischoff comes in and says, "Ray, you can't be doing this, man. Look, you got a big pay-per-view. If you want to set things up, you want to prove yourself at Slamboree, you've got the match. But you can't ruin things before then. So go home, get ready, and I'll see you at Slamboree." Jarrett sort of, chuckles at that, smirks, Ray's, Jarrett's like, "I'm glad you make the right decision, Bosch." And Bischoff's like, "I'm doing this for you and to protect my investment in the pay-per-view. Tonight, you got a big match against Triumvirate Guerrero Jr., so you better get ready for that." 69, solid stuff as, fun stuff as basically Radiated Ray's indirect, sort of does indirect things, and Divine, looks like he wanted to fight, but it's he's quote unquote, held back. And then we have Goldberg, his first match in a while, getting absolutely killed by Aaron Stevens and killing Aaron Stevens in 2 minutes. But what happens here is something interesting is, of course, he throws him around, hits the spear, hits the jackhammer, but then he locks in sort of a submission, and Stevens quickly taps out because he's our local jobber, and that's that, as the answers put over the fact, that Bill Goldberg just did that. As then Goldberg takes the mic. This gets a 64 because it's Goldberg getting 89 and Random Jobber getting 14, so, what can you do? But then Goldberg takes the mic and says, "Ever since I've walked into a professional wrestling ring, I've been the man. Don Frye, you beat me. Now I could fetch or cry about how it happened, but it happened in this ring. So I had to restructure things, get back in the ring, get better, make sure nobody anywhere could question I'm at the top of the sport. So, talk tough about being Goldberg, talk tough about all the accomplishments you have, all the fights you've been in from Tokyo to Timbuktu to Trenton. I don't care, because you aren't a predator, you're a punk. You got your hype man Savage, who always was somebody's backup and never the man in his career, even if he acts like he was. In 6 days, Frye, we get back in the ring together. And Frye, you're next. And Savage, you get in the ring, you can beat too." The solid promo from Goldberg and putting over, remember, Frye got the somewhat controversial win over Goldberg at the last pay-per-view, and now we got a big rematch as Frye debuted a couple months ago, as he's been a big star over in Japan and is now pretty over in the US. So I brought him in basically because, it's fun, do something wacky like Don Frye in WCW in 2005. So we build that up as we move forward with, of course, Jeff Jarrett, versus Chavo. And again, this is sort of another, not quite a squash match, but, Chavo gets a little bit of offense in, but Jarrett is the guy getting in with the big pay-per-view match, and he's cocky, and eventually, it says he's submission, that I just forgot to make it a pinfall. But Jarrett, hits the stroke, 1, 2, 3, and just a, solid little undercard match to put over, Jarrett over somebody who I'm not doing much at the moment. As Jarrett gets an 89, Chavo gets a 67. But not the fun thing, but like the interesting thing is the post match as, Jindrak and, of course, simply Johnny Vine comes in and begins to beat down on Chavo. And, Jarrett then talks to the camera and says, "This is just a preview, Slapnuts, and a reminder that I'm the chosen one." And as they sort of get set Chavo ready and hit him with a stereo, like sort of Divine hits him with a super kick, Jindrak hits him with a big suplex, and then they both can beat him down. Brother Ray, you've never been nothing in this business but Bing Hall street trash and Slamboree. Everyone will see that's the truth. So 71, decent heel promo as we continue to set things up. And then we had the Kanyon training package. Now we get the Eddy training package, and we basically see Eddy like in basically Tijuana, like back in sort of the hard lucha rings there, as he begins the voiceover and says, "This is where I learned to fight. This is where I learned to brawl, bleed, and survive. My family helped me step into this business, but this is where I made my way in this business. Fighting the ring, fighting on the streets, battling bit by bit, knowing any day some psycho in the crowd could come try to stab me or worse. But day by day, I earned that respect. No, it was even more dangerous ringside than it was to the ropes." So Kanyon, I've sort of cut to him in WCW winning matches, holding the title against Arcade. You talk about respect, about what you've done. But the moment I walked back into this company, I showed everyone you were nothing but a paper champion, and I took that title from you at the granddaddy of them all. In a few days at Slamboree, inside a cage sheet, you think I'm scared of that? I've been in dangerous matches. I've been in more danger than you've ever been in your life, Kanyon. And inside the cage, I end this once and for all. So 100, great promo, setting things up. Eddy versus Kanyon, cage sheet, one last time. And then we basically come back for commercial as Morningstar is in his graveyard of souls, as he says, "The message has never left me. Raven, you may believe this is my lowest point, that you gain your revenge on me and take your place among the darkness as this true king. But the message provides for those who will listen. I will walk into Slamboree, and you misbegotten souls will find out what true power is, how Messias is nothing but a chained monster without the message to guide him. Raven, people may think you're the master manipulator, who's always one step ahead, and is some planner of great renown. But here's the thing. Raven, I'm not some past childhood enemy from summer camp or desperate addict clinging to fame. I am fallen, and I was saved by the message. But I will not fail it, and I've been given an instrument that everyone will see at Slamboree, and I will not fail." And then he cackles. So there we go. 90, and so yeah, that's sort of like a match I'm not going to be actually putting on the preview, not the preview, but sort of like, the pre-booking, because it's basically a mystery opponent, as it's going to be Raven and Messias versus Morningstar as a mystery opponent, as, Messias was basically brought over to Raven's side. Morningstar tried to bring him back, but they continued, again, like, you could say this is sort of like my Bray Wyatt first, which could be positive or negative, depending on what you think of Bray Wyatt. But I think it's fun, and sort of like this wacky thing going off to the side while the rest of the show is like sort of a normal wrestling show is fun to do. And plus, like, it's mid-2000s, of course, wacky supernatural stuff is happening on a wrestling show. So let's get to 90, because Morningstar is actually pretty great. And then, yep, it's time for our big four-way match, as it's Mike Awesome, Chris Harris, Jack Evans, and Kaz, as all four of these tag teams will be in the Assault on Anarchy II, a little over a year and a half, about a year and a half since it was last done at the Starrcade before last. And honestly, this probably should have been the main event, because I have worries about the main event. But yeah, I mean, this is the exact sort of like pedal to the metal, like just almost pure spot fest, steal the show type of match you demanded. Jack Evans flies around, Kaz kicks the hell out of people, Chris Harris does some brawling, Awesome acts as a base and throws around people, and it's back and forth. Eventually, like, Awesome, Chris Harris, clotheslines Awesome to the outside, They're fighting. Evans and Kaz are doing stuff in the ring. When Yang comes in, basically, being sent, being brought back from the back by Stacy Keibler, they come in, hits, sort of like a double team maneuver on Jack Evans, and then Kaz hits another big kick to the back head as Austin and Harris fight. 1, 2, 3. Kaz gets a big win here on Nitro 6 days before the Assault on Anarchy match, as this gets an 89, as Mike Austin gets an 85, Chris Hart gets a 71, Jack Evans gets a 79, and Kaz gets an 86. And yeah, fun stuff. Really, and again, there's an argument this should have been the main event, but, storylines over, getting the best possible rating from the game. And then, of course, as you'd imagine, everybody gets involved. We've got, eventually Teddy Hart making out for the save, James Storm coming out to brawl with Awesome, so does Lance Storm, I just forgot to include him, and the Youngsters put over, it's this stuff, it's going to be even more chaos. It's Slamboree, as all 4 of these times fight for the tag team titles as they're suspended, only gettable by a ladder, as there'll be ladders, there'll be chairs, there'll be violence, and only one team will walk out as the WCW World Tag Team Champions. 66, as these guys aren't the best at fighting, but gotta have a little come down. And then I believe it's time for our main event. I'm going to guess, I'm going to say like 80. Okay, wow. I forgot, Rob Van Dam is very good at this. Unfortunately, Aries and Kidman didn't work well as a team, but this is sort of the match you sort of imagine here. As again, part of what I'm doing here is trying to build up the Cruiserweight guys by team with upper mid card and top level guys. So honestly, my Cruiser scene is not just a total joke. But yeah, fun stuff. Obviously, Sydal plays facing peril for a long time before we get a what's the word I'm looking for here? Before we get a hot tag, and Kidman is house on fire. Aries gets his ass kicked. Kidman comes in, big brawl, big fight. Sydal eventually throws her to the outside. Big springboard plancha. They continue to fight, and eventually RVD. Kidman goes for the Kid Crusher. RV gets out of it, hits a few big moves. Kidman goes for a big move. Kidman hits him with Rolling Thunder. Goes up top. Boom! 5-star frog splash. 1, 2, 3. RVD has just pinned the world champion Billy Kidman 6 days before. There will be a 2 or 3 falls match at Slamboree. This gets an 85. So yeah, Sydal gets a 51. RVD gets a 93. Kidman gets an 80. Aries gets a 44. Like I said, Aries and Kidman didn't work well as a team, but yeah, RVD turns out good at the professional wrestling thing. But yeah, 85, and then post match, which I probably should have done as I did a 6-minute angle, which probably overkill, but a little bit of stretching things, as we can account for commercials. As basically, RVD celebrates, goes to the outside, grabs the title, holds it up in front of Kidman as they face off, throws it at him, and then walks away as the announcers put over the huge 2 out of 3 falls match at Slamboree, as it gets a 99. And overall, we get a 92. Okay, so really good show. Honestly, I was really worried this would end up being a 78 or something, but we got our big couple big angles along the ending angle, and there you go, fun stuff. And we'll see what Raw did, along with any interesting emails. Might have to hide stuff as I see who's, but I don't think I have any signings coming up. Load. Did not miss this, honestly. Did not miss this at all. All right, so we got Nitro. Let's see here. Email. Terry Taylor thinks Austin Aries. I mean, you're not wrong. Even though scumbag with scumbag here. Jack Evans. I mean, Jack, you're not wrong, but his job isn't to sell. Let's see here. Goldberg. See, Goldberg doesn't like Austin Aries, but Terry Taylor does, which honestly is not great for Austin Aries. But a let's see. Oscar lost an MMA fight. HAPW signed Nobisco Susawazawa. That sounds like a regen. And Okuma signed for. Okuma I think might be an actual guy. Anyway, let's look at what Raw did. So, I said let's go where Raw did. Okay, so we have Triple H brawl with Edge, Lesnar, Michaels, Amber James and Shinko defeated Jamie Keys and Cherry Slice in a 67. Molly Holly defeated Christy Cummings. Jericho won a squash against Maven. Brock Lesnar killed Scott Vick. Top Shelf defeated Randy Orton Bumping Ground in 92. Undertaker defeated Skyfall, who is Eric Paris. And then main event, the new improved Team Angle of Kurt Angle and Billy Gunn defeated Big Show and Edge in 99, because of course it did. And okay, so they got a 3.09 rating, and we got a 2.86. So, like, this is actually pretty close. It's interesting. But yeah, let's see here. Anyway, New Jay, Crowbar versus Trinacid. I mean, honestly, that is a mid-2000s indie match. Like, okay, so Crowbar versus Trinacid, Tolmaxo versus Chino Martinez, Icarus versus Mosh, Simon 9 versus 911, Big Dick Lily versus Matt Striker. I mean, honestly, this is the most realistic New Jersey indie show I've seen in TW ever, especially for this time. PW Greatest Week, so I think, yeah, this is a big show for them from Budokan, Big Japan Budokan, and not the best, but let's see here. Nakamura, of course, on the undercard, because of course he is. Winger versus Suwama. Yes, Suwama is not in All Japan. The regime of John Zandig, Menzio, and Matsunaka defeated Hashi, Taro, and Keiseito. But here's our interesting. Hanma and Jingu Takagi defeated Ogawa and Great Suzuki. Big Japan, interesting. Anyway, I'll be back in just a moment with Revolution as we move forward here on the Go Home Week for Slamboree. Alright, let's get rolling. It's time for WCW Revolution, the Go True Home Show for Slamboree, live from Indianapolis, Indiana, in front of a sold-out crowd of a little over 15,000, as the youngsters put over. It's a huge six-man tag match. Main event tonight of AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio Jr., and Rob Van Dam versus the Triumvirate of Kidman, Storm, and Awesome. And then the youngsters go to the ring. We have a big match to start things off, as Cash, fresh off attacking Alex Wright, and being part of some scuttlebutt on the internet, which I'll get into after the show, takes on Dean Malenko, and this is a fun little, opening match, get the crowd hot, both previous part of the Cruiserweight division. Dean Malenko's honestly getting old, but, he can still, he's not, sort of 50, is, my line for people to sort of throw him into backstage roles permanently, but he can still have good matches, and this is what he's here to do, basically, along with Team of London a bit, is back and forth, but eventually Cash takes over, hits the dead level, 1, 2, 3, pinfall victory for Cash, as the youngsters put over. It's going to be him versus Alex Wright at Slamboree, which I already pre-booked that. I think I did. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, okay. It's right at the top there. Anyway, but yeah, fun match. Cash gets a 76, Dean Malenko gets a 56, and just a fun little match to start things off. And then Cash takes the mic and says, Alex Wright, you might be asking why I attacked you out of nowhere. Because I needed to make an impact. Because Alex, we've been across the room from each other before, but I've never been this focused on this one goal. And let's be honest, before a lot of time, I was carrying 250 pounds of dead weight. Ooh, pop, referring to Reno. And at Slamboree, man, I'm going to prove once and for all that I am money. And that it's a dead level truth that I'm going to walk out as the US champion, and hell, maybe Toro will see real talent for once. 68, fun stuff, and just sort of setting up the big US title match at the pay-per-view. Let me try that again as we actually move forward. Then we cut backstage where we have Amy Weber with Ali Danger, and did I accidentally? Yeah, I think I should have set Alex. Okay, so she puts. Amy explains that last week, Ali Danger sort of attacked all that Alyssa Alexander out of nowhere, and why she did that. And Ali Danger is basically like, why the hell not? Because I'm not going to wait around until it's my turn in this business. I'm going to make sure I rise to the top here in WCW right from the jump. I started out teaming up right here on Revolution with the greatest women's wrestler on the planet, and now I get to show everybody that, Alyssa, you're not all that. You've just entered the danger zone. So if you're ready to fight me, come show up next week here on Revolution, and I'll show everybody why I'm the hottest new women's wrestler in WCW. Solid stuff, as Ali's in that over, so 49 is decent. Amy Weber helped her out, and fun stuff. As then we cut backstage where AJ Styles, Rob Van Dam, and Rey Mysterio Jr. are all basically hanging out. AJ's basically still icing himself up, putting over his, basically getting his ass kicked by Monty Brown, leading to a count out a couple weeks ago. RVD, basically they joke around about like RVD having a lot of fun on Nitro, hanging out with Matt Sydal, and race jokes, can't get us in trouble over here like that. They talk about like formerly team, AJ, has a Don't Steal Rey as his partner again, as he needs him here in Revolution. RV, is fine about that. And says, man, we almost were tag champions, now I'm the world champion. Rey, you were so damn close. And look, and they sort of talk about like, Robin said like, after I take the title from Kidman, I'll be happy to take you on anywhere for that this world championship since you've earned that shot. And AJ says, he'll be ready, he'll be ready soon enough, rise to the top. And RV says that's right, but right now they're together. World titles, tag titles doesn't matter, because he's RVD. In a few days after we kick the Triumvirate's ass tonight again, he'll be world champion in just a few days at Slamboree. Not my best work, but 96, fun stuff. Basically, hey, these are our top faces here on Revolution, at least for the moment. And then we basically have a squash match as to put over Celine Cartier as she defeats Emi Sakura in a little over 6 minutes with this leve, which is an air raid crash. Just a Emi Sakura gets a little bit of offense in, but this is just a putting over Cartier, getting a rematch against Gail Kim after she was about to win at the last pay-per-view, but Gail Kim walloped her with the belt to earn a DQ. So Cartier just gets gets the finisher after a couple minutes. She gets a 72 and Emi Sakura gets a 44. But as Cartier is celebrating, Gail Kim slides in, climbs up to the top, and goes for a eat defeat from the top. But Gail Kim is ready for her. She rolls out of the way and hits a big boot. And she's going to hit her with the Slice Leve, but Gail Kim gets out of it. And they face off as, backstage personnel get between them as the announcers put over. It's a big women's world title rematch at Slamboree between two of the best in the business as Celine Cartier takes on Gail Kim. As this gets an 86. As, very top of that woman's card is like, I can do stuff with them. And then we, oof. Okay, this was not great. I guess I should have, I should not have actually rated Amy Weber. But anyway, Amy Weber interrupts Monty as he's training in the, backstage gym, doing, big guy stuff, as, Monty is pissed and basically, says, woman, may train, but that's not what I'm upset about. What I'm actually pissed about is that I'm not on the card for one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. I kicked AJ Styles' ass so badly that he is barely getting in the ring tonight. But I'm the alpha male, a one-man raccoon crew here on Revolution, and Paul London, tonight it's nothing personal, man. You're just me, but I'm on my way to where I belong. 65, because bad rolls for both Amy and Monty. Not the end of the world, though. And then, this was not good. This was a, okay, so this has been built up a bit, and I thought maybe I could get one of these guys hot enough that it doesn't matter that they're both, but yeah, okay, this is what you have to do to build people up. Wow. Okay, so, this is in a fighting pit, and basically, Fighting Pit is just a match, except there's no pinfalls, there's no rope breaks, and it can't end by stoppage or KO, and then what happens here is Finlay get destroyed by Keith Walker, and this might be the official end of Finlay here on TV. Keith Walker kills him in 3 minutes. Gets a 16 because wow. Okay, Finlay gets a 38. Keith Walker gets a 42, and post match, Keith and Tori celebrate. That gets a 47, and let's just move on. Yikes! I thought maybe there'd be a thing where we could get them back. That one. I mean, I was worried that might happen, and unfortunately, that is what happened. Anyway, though, we basically cut to earlier tonight as Amy Weber is at the basically the outside of the arena as a Triumvirate arrive in the afternoon. As Amy Weber walks up to him, April Hunter of course sneers at Amy Weber because all women hate each other in professional wrestling, and she asks Kidman about the big 6-man tag match and if he's worried that RVD will get another pinfall victory over him, and Kidman's like, I do not care. Tonight's just another reminder. You don't have to like how I become the WCW World Champion, but it's just going to be another night where I prove once again I'm the best wrestler on the planet. And here's a little bonus. Tonight, every other team that's going to be in Assault on Anarchy better watch to get a preview of what happens when the baddest man in wrestling and the best technical wrestler in the business take apart two high-flying heroes like AJ and Rey. So America's Most Wanted, Hart, Evans, and KO. You're looking at your next World Tag Team Champions, and the man who walk out Slamboree as World Champion once again. Good stuff here, as I guess Kidman rolled well. Interesting. 94. Fun stuff as we move forward. Yeah. And then we cut backstage as Jamie Noble and Cannerson are fighting through the arcade here, like throwing each other over tables, over plates, ruining stuff, battling. Officials try to break them up. They push them away. They keep fighting. Refs get trying to get involved. Eventually, Teddy Long comes over and says, "Yeah, you guys were scheduled for a match at the pay-per-view, but after tonight, it's off. If you want to fight, fight in the ring when you're ready. But you need consequences, as I'm not running some crazy thing where everybody gets to do what they want. So go home and come back on Revolution next week, and I'll think about putting you in a match together." This has nothing to do with the fact that I kind of overbooked Slamboree. Nothing at all. Anyway, this gets to 72 as this continues the feud and, set things up probably for a match next week. Probably. And then we go in the ring as we have a big women's tag team match set up last week as Ronnie Jonah and Lila Vez got a big upset win over Nikita and Busick as part of a six-man match, I believe. So this is this is European Union's first defense of the Women's World Tag Titles here on Revolution, as this is a energy match. Jonah and Levez are young Welshers, and they do their fighting. It's a little bit of high flying, some suplexes, but eventually, Disunion are both two great technical wrestlers, and eventually, Busick. It's a back and forth match. Eventually, Busick takes over. Hits a few big, sort of like Sambo style suplexes, and eventually gets a roll up and uses the ropes to get the pinfall victory over Jonah to keep the tag titles for European Disunion. This gets a 65, Five Eyes gets a 41, when Jonah gets a 38, Busick gets a 55, and Nicole gets a 73. Fun stuff, and this. But then, of course, it isn't over as Jonah and Vivez are upset and they go after. But then out comes Angel Fox and Lexi James to brawl with them. But then out come Nikita Ratcliffe and Annie Ayol. The officials need to brawl with them, and it's a four-way brawl before W officials get involved, as this gets a 49. Not the best, but solid stuff to build up the undercard of the women's division. And then we go backstage where Teddy Long's back in his office, but the Truth walks in, and Truth basically asks him, "Teddy, what's up with no TV title match? I'm the champion of all television, and I can't get a title match. I have to go over and fight somebody over on American Idol." And Teddy's like, "Truth, I'm sorry, but we got lots of big stuff this week, and I got no time for a TV title match. But next week on Revolution, I got something in planned for your player, so just show up next week." Truth agrees, and it's set up as looks like it'll be a TV title match next week here on Revolution, as this gets an 80. As Truth is solid, and so is Teddy Long. Then I think we have a very interesting promo, as we have Chuck Palumbo arriving in Houston and sort of the same neighborhood that Booker was in a few weeks ago as he built up his face turn. As they're on their bike, there's some little bit of wariness from the people, but then we have Palumbo pulling out a bankroll, and then we cut to various interviews, quote unquote, where basically we see random people talking about how Booker and Stevie were never really part of the community. They were from the neighborhood. They all thought they were better than everybody else, and they got away from Houston as soon as they could. And when they were here before, WCW paid people off, act like they were something special, and but they're nothing but street trash, and they always will be. And Palumbo was acting like very interesting, even though we sort of see he paid people off, and then we see a somebody who quotes she's a former girlfriend of Booker, even though aka local stripper, that Booker couldn't satisfy her, and when he walked to prison, she found somebody better. And Raven whispers something in her ear, and then she points at Palumbo, and she nods, and they walk away together. And then Palumbo turns to camera and says, "Booker, you never been king. You're always a chump. And at Slamboree, just like I proved that everybody in your neighborhood wishes you never came back. I'm going to prove tonight. I'm going to prove at Slamboree that I'm the future of this business as I beat another former world champion right here in that ring." 92, fun stuff, and again, little out of the arena stuff to build storyline and such is always fun. And then we have Monty Brown killing Paul London. I mean, Paul London gets his spots, and he gets some fun high spots, flying around, hitting a springboard, hitting a plunge. I imagine Brown coming out and London just flying through the suicide dive. or London find out Suicide Drive. A little bit of fighting, but eventually Monty Brown takes over because he's Monty Brown and Paul London's Paul London. And, he fights, but eventually London gets nailed with the pounce. He takes a big bump off it because it's Paul London 2005, and Monty Brown gets a completely clean win. This is London's nothing really going on for him at the moment. Brown, we're building him up. And Brown gets an 87. London gets an 85. That gets a 77, probably because I forgot to, I should have continued the AJ storyline, but not the end of the world. But fun stuff. And then post-match, London basically speaks into the camera and says, anybody want a piece of the alpha male, come and find me. So it gets to 71. And then we have our Nitro recap, focusing on the big four-way match. Preview of Assault on Anarchy. As then it's time, which gets to 62. And it's time for our main event, which gets us... Okay, yeah, fun stuff. Okay, so we have, this is sort of the match you'd imagine. Basically, RVD and Kidman, we sort of keep them apart from each other. RVD wrestles a lot with Storm, gets run by Awesome. Kidman fights AJ, fights Rey, as just put up Rey has a future title match. Rey gets sort of a close pin on Rey. Eventually things break down. Van Dam flies around. AJ hits a big Fosbury flop. Hits his forearm for near fall on Kidman. Things break down more. Awesome tries to hit a powerbomb on Rey Jr., but he actually sort of hurricanes him to the outside. Things break down eventually. Kidman nails, hits Styles in the knee where he's been injured. Hits him with a, quick, then picks him up. Kid Crusher, 1, 2, 3, basically clean victory as the announcers put over, a big win for Triumvirate just a few days before their big matches at Slamboree. As this gets a 90, because these guys are all fucking great. RVD gets a 93, AJ Styles gets a 90, Rey Jr. gets a 94, Awesome gets an 89, Storm gets an 89, Kidman gets a 90, and yeah, fun stuff. And then post-match, basically Kidman and RV face off and it looks like they're about to fight, but then America's Most Wanted come down and they face off against Awesome Storm as the announcers put over the big matches for the pay-per-view, as this gets an 81, and overall the show itself got a 89. Okay, fun stuff. Good show. That's about what I imagined. Hey, Francine. That's a bio that has not been updated since 1993 or something. Because, yeah, solid show, and, sort of building things up, getting rid of that Noble Anderson match, which I'm not even sure if I actually ever said it was before the pay-per-view, but, we're just retconning it. Fun stuff. Begin building up the women's division, and all that other fun stuff, so here we go. Alright, so Revolution. Hey, Beth Phoenix, yay! So, this is the fun stuff. So, you know how Triple H cheated on Stephanie Man with Lita, which is why I'm in-game punishing him? Well, Lita cheated on him, because of course she's been over here for the past, half a year, with Kid Cash. So now, Scott Hall hates Kid Cash, Scott Hall hates Lita, Shawn Waltman hates Kid Cash, Shawn hates Lita, Shawn Michaels hates Kid Cash, and Shawn Michaels hates Lita, and of course, Triple H and Kid Cash hate each other. So, very fun stuff there. But yeah, so... okay, so what I'll do is I'll go over the pay-per-view lineup and our storylines, and then I'll go with what's been happening, and then we'll go from there. So, first our storylines, we've got Against the Darkness at 80, Chosen Backgrounds with his Ray and Jarrett at 73, Cruiser build-up at an 81, thank you main event, Frye and Goldberg at a 77, oh right, that's the thing, yeah, Expensive Taste, which is basically Ninkyo versus Heart Legacy at an 83, Helm's Legacy at an 61, O'Hare versus Toro at an 84, Guerrero Kanyon at a 92, Van Dam Kidman at an 88, Women's Tag Feud at a 48, Right Cash at a 54, Women's Feud Continued at a 62, Noble Anderson at a 74, sort of our main event feud among Revolution at an 86, Triumvirate Tag Feud at an 86, Cartier Kim at an 83, and Lawler and Sky at an 76, which basically because we took a week off here. So, to go over our the main event, or matches tonight, so we have, of course, the main event, Billy Kidman versus R. Van Dam in a 2 out of 3 falls match. We have Eddy Guerrero versus Kanyon in Caged Heat. We have Gail Kim versus Celine Cartier for the WCW World Championship. We have America's Most Wanted versus Heart Legacy versus Ninkyo versus Awesome Storm in a Assault on Anarchy match, which is basically just a TLC match. We have Alex Wright versus Cash for the US Tide Championship. We have Sean O'Hare versus Jonathan Toro in a Gladiator match. We have Sydal versus Austin Aries in a match for the Cruiserweight title. We have Brother Ray versus Jeff Jarrett, Booker T versus Chuck Palumbo, Goldberg versus Frye, and Helms and Tomko versus Reno Gigantes in some big feuds. Trisha Sky versus Joey Lawler one more time, and in a match not included here because of no actual reveal, we have Morningstar and a mystery partner taking on Macias and Raven in continuation of the Darkness feud. So yeah, that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so 13 matches. So might have to either expand it to 4 hours or maybe I'll just have to see about that. Anyway, so that's our show. So let's go over what's been happening in the rest of the wrestling world. So WWE, of course, had SmackDown. Let's see, we got Cherry Slice defeated Chrissy Cummings, Kane squashing Maven in 61, Jamie Keys retaining the Women's Championship over Amber James and Molly Holly in an 82. Fun stuff. Big Show interview, Billy Gunn interview. Top Shelf of Steiner, DDP, and Hall defeated Al Snow and the Outcasts in 82. Kurt Angle beat Rikishi in 91. Triple H defeated JBL in a random 99. Of course, Big Show and Lesnar defeated Regal and Jericho in a random 99. So fun stuff as far as that goes. Let's see here. All right. So all the other thing I wanted to show, which is the easiest way to do this, is just news and then do just results. Yeah. Okay. So let's see here. If we go back to Revolution. Okay. So let's see here. What's some stuff I wanted to show you guys? Kingdom, which is one of the the indie feds that I had show up to sort of introduce the world. Not much going on here except for Nakamura having another banger of a match. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, and Okada. Yeah, Okada is on the undercard of some random match. Chick Fight, Super Gauls had another big show. Let's see here. What is the big match here? Simply Licious versus Mickey Nichols and Esther Moreno, and Tanny Mouse versus Lexi Fry and Heather Savage. So yeah, women's wrestling 2005 and not the best. Gaia had a big show, main evented by, let's see here, we had Miko Satomura versus Suzumika, we had Mamu Nakanishi versus Bloody Phoenix, and Shin Nagayo versus Rei Tamada. And yeah, New Japan had their big show from the Tokyo Dome, which maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Nexus 6. So let's see here, stuff that matters. Magnum Tokyo defeated Kakahara in a 69. We had Ogawa, Shamrock, and Super J, aka NW Japan, defeat Mr. Wall Street, Leatherface, and Tetsuya Neko in a 56. Sure. We had Kevin Nash defeat Hugh Morris. Wow. We had Gedo and Jado retain the junior tag titles over Brother Yashi and Jun Akawachi. We had Sekigon of Tanahashi, Nishimura, and Nakanishi defeat Chris Candido, Bobby Roode, and Koji Kato. We had Liger defeat Nigel McGuinness. We had Chono defeat Shinsuke Izaki and Nagata in a triple threat. We had Sakabura defeat Kinogo Shin in an MMA style match. We had Sasaki retain the IWGP title over Hase and Josu in an old man match, I guess. Well, it's like Sasaki, but yeah. It's weird how they're booking the IWGP title. Then the main event, Tengoji won back the IWGP tag titles from Taokeya and Muto. So, interesting show. Liger and McGuinness, Liger and McGuinness is getting in 90 matches in 2005 in New Japan. Very interesting world. I think outside of that, that was the only other big show I wanted to show you guys. Yeah. So then, if we go to our Dev Feds, first for NWA, Wildside. Wildside TV, we had Adam Ortiz and Tony Jones defeat Sansiaki and Kenzo Suzuki. Adam Ortiz is getting there. Sansiaki's kind of close, but that'll take him time. Castanoni, Rhodes, and Stone Mountain defeat Rick Michaels, Ken Cole, and Matt Morgan. Fun stuff. Yeah, we're getting to the point where, I don't know. Reigns defeat Chance Prophet. And Lazarus and Kai Graves defeat Cassidy and Jamie Raven in a cage match in 64. And then for the weekly house show, Kenzo Suzuki defeat Brian Drago in a dark match. We had Ken Cole and Matt Morgan defeat Dagon Birds and JC Daz. And some backstage segments. Then we had, let's see here, Claudio and Trevor Rhodes and Joe Man defeat Rick Michaels, Siaki, and Rayman. Again, Claudio's ready. I just have to find the right thing for him. Matt Cross defeat Champ Profit by DQ. Then we had Cassiarelli retaining the NWA Georgia Tokyo title over Adam Ortiz in a 64. And Jimmy Ray defeated Lazarus. So then we go to American Wrestling Queens. We had Ariel defeated Annette Bletchard, who's a regen who I hired from our power plant. We had ODB and the 100% Girls defeat Amazing Kong and Mega Women, so slow push up the card for Amazing Kong. And then the non-gay partners, which is Eagles, which is Madison and Tracy Brooks, defeated the Girls and Lily Hosaki and Michelle McCool in a 50. So interesting stuff as I've brought up like most of like sort of the people who made up sort of like the core of the top of the card, as so they're going from 46. Like, yeah, that's interesting because they were getting, let's see here, if we go to the show history here, like, yeah, they were getting like, 55s, 56, 61s even before. And if we go back to 64, like, yeah, there were times when they were getting like, close to 60s, but I've brought up all those over women, so that's just interesting to me. And then if we go over, of course, to the WWE Dev Feds, I think, no. Yeah, that already happened. So, weekly show. So, yeah, with Chris Cage defeat Andre Shearer. Andre Shearer is our regen. Nick Mitchell defeats Silas Young. Yes, that's Silas Young, who was on Dynamite a few weeks back. Darren Corbin defeated Billy Bax. That's not Baron Corbin, by the way. Drew Onyx defeat Dustin Lee and Barry Bradburn. Yes, Drew Onyx is the guy who was Ebbing Sable for us, who's been hired by HWA. Dan Robber and Cyber Squad defeat Corey Castle and Club Deluxe. Ricky Shane Page for Jorge Estrada in 49. And Excalibur and Alex Shelley defeat Jimmy Jacobs and Andy Douglas in 55. So we go over to OVW. Let's see here. This was, no, I showed you guys this. So for the weekly loop, we had Shaggy YouTube defeat John Cena by DQ again. We had Samoans defeat Sean Casey and Rory Fox. We had Miss Natural defeat Eileen Chambers, who again is a regen. We had, let's see, Chantel Chiller defeat Sarah Stark to retain the OVW Divas title. Jerry Rain defeat Chuck Taylor. Mafia defeat Charlie Haas. Rob Conway and Trip Breaker defeat Disciples of Sin. Bradley and Puda retain the tag titles. Lizzie Bourne defeat Riptide in 63. And Joey Massos defeat Danger and retain the OVW title. And then for the Saturday show, Rob Conway defeat Daniel Puder. Chantel Taylor defeat Lizzie Borden. And then Joey Massos defeat Joey Ryan. And then Russ Haas versus John Cena on the undercard as John Cena gets built up. And this is a weird world where CM Punk is on the main roster in 2005 while John Cena is still stuck in OVW. Interesting stuff. And that's about it. So again, I hope you enjoyed this return. I hope I be able to, remind everybody of what the storylines and such are. But again, if you enjoy this, go to give it a like, comment below what you're liking and not liking, and subscribe to the channel for plenty of TEW 2020 content, especially now for the next 31 days as I do my best to do 31 days of content. But, talk to you later, adios, and have a good one.